What's going on, Aces? Welcome back to the channel. Social media has been dragging Funky Dineva for filth in regards to his initial comments about Chloe Bailey. And he came on today and issued an apology. A lot of people are saying it's a half-hearted apology, but I'm going to let you listen and you be the judge, and then we'll talk about it.
On the line. Y'all know how this goes, right? When you work somewhere and something controversial happens, the company comes out and makes a statement, or the person that works for the company comes out and makes a statement. And I always sit on this very platform and be like, that shit was so fake. Ain't nobody believing in this prefabricated statement that this person read and it's phony. And with that being said, I'm not going to give y'all one, right? I did get the phone call. I did get the email. We think that you should provide an apology and show some remorse. I get up here and just say some regurgitated stuff that I was encouraged to say, because y'all are not going to believe it anyway, and it wouldn't be believable, especially considering the fact that I said what I said with my whole chest. I 100% stand 10 toes down on the fact that I think Chloe Bailey is. So listen, while I got to be inauthentic when it comes to her as an artist, I think that the sexual image that she gives sometimes is unbelievable. And I think that in her defending her sister, the whole, clapping back, and I just thought it was inauthentic. I do. But I also recognize that that's probably where my commentary should have started and stopped. I don't have my head too far up my own ass or so far in my own ego that I can't recognize the fact that I did cross the line when I started talking about her looks. That was below the belt. It was unnecessary, and it was non-germane to the story at hand. And for that, I do apologize. So again, I apologize for going below the belt when referencing Chloe Bailey's looks. They had nothing to do with the story at hand. And this was a learning lesson, and I hope to move forward and not repeat it.
Okay, so a couple things, right? He starts off by saying, well, I got the phone call, I got the email, in a very mocking tone, which is problematic. So that makes me already on the defensive a little bit, because if you've ever had someone when you worked in corporate America or wherever in a company, or even when we were little kids, when you're told to apologize for something that you did wrong, and if that person has a mocking tone in their voice, like, oh, I'm sorry because that right there, you want to talk about inauthentic. To me, that was very inauthentic. There was no sincerity there. It was not a heartfelt apology. He said that he did so because he was prompted through, Fox Soul's phone calls and emails. Okay, so that's one. Then he goes on to say, I stand 10 toes down. Are we really doubling down and standing 10 toes down while you're supposed to be apologizing? You know, Funky Dineva, even though he has been in the YouTube game for a very long time, you are not the authority on someone, being authentic or not. These girls are in their 20s, Funky Dineva's 40. So they're still trying to figure themselves out. They're still trying to, find their voice, find their brand. They're growing into their womanhood. Nobody has everything figured out in their 20s. You know what I mean? Like, that's the time to make mistakes and learn and grow. So that again, that bothered me too. I've never heard somebody give an apology and then say that they stand 10 toes down in their remarks in regards to Chloe's, her brand, or, seeming inauthentic. 3, okay, so he says that he shouldn't have talked about her looks and it's below the belt. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because again, the initial segment was about Halle Bailey, okay? And even that was wrong. And I'm glad that Claudia, said what she said, because again, even here, she goes on to ask him, was it personal? Like, the attacks on Chloe's appearance and, her person, it seemed like it was coming from a very, a place of vitriol, very personalized place. I'll let you guys hear what Claudia says, and then I'll talk about it.
You just no. I I personally don't think I came super hard, but I also recognize the fact too that Chloe is unproblematic, especially with the black community. She don't bother nobody. Even I have to say that. So people are going to be extra sensitive when it comes to our unproblematic princesses in the community. So I mean, I totally get it. And like I said, I can look back on it and realize the looks portion of my comments is where the line was crossed, and I do apologize for that. I appreciate you doing that. I definitely had a lot of messages in my inbox, especially black women. They're like, he's coming for us, and we support him the most. And I think a lot of women were definitely hurt by that. I understand. I totally understand it.
I don't think that he does. I don't think that he does. I think that, unfortunately, you know, this is going to be damaging because every time I scroll social media ever since Wednesday, folks have been dragging, Funky Dineva. There's been people who have left messages under Fox Soul asking for him to be dismissed. And I'm not going to do any of that. But again, I'm going to give my commentary because it's what our channel is. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad that, Claudia spoke up. I'm glad that she asked him about it. For him to say that he didn't think that he went super hard is wow. It actually made me do a heart check because I used to, this was years ago, before the pandemic. I thought that some of his material was very funny and lighthearted. And now I'm looking back on it like, wow, was he always this misogynistic toward Black women? Did I maybe miss something in my own youth and naivete? But again, we evolve and we grow. But for him to say that he didn't think that he went that hard, I mean, he talked about this woman's career. He talked about her sister. He talked about her looks. He talked about her whole personhood while emulating Black women. That's my issue, right? Tyler Perry made $1 billion off of emulating and mocking Black women. And I'm guessing that, Quentin Latham thought that he could do the same, but he has been mocking Black women in dusty wigs and dresses and, crusty lipstick for years. And so for him to have such hate and vitriol, I heard one therapist say, she was a Black woman, but I heard one therapist say that she could tell, and he said this before on his own channel, that he has severe issues with his mother who has passed. But that relationship was very strained while his mom was alive. And the therapist said that she could tell that he has some, severe mommy issues, right? For lack of a better word. And I think that unfortunately, a lot of people, if you don't heal that initial mother wound, it festers. And with some, it may turn into misogyny, but it's similar with, women having daddy issues, so on and so forth. But yeah, I disagree with Funky. He did go hard. He talked about everything that was important to Chloe Bailey. He talked about how she looked. He said that she was fat. Those girls ain't fat. They've been, performing together since YouTube. Or, that's how they got their start, but neither one of them is fat. He said that she was ugly. That's a lie. He said that, he talked about her sister and demanding that, they know, him and Al know her pregnancy results. That's intrusive. Women need to have agency and autonomy over their own bodies. Hallie will let us know when and if she's ready. He talked about her brand, and he talked about her career. He literally dogged her from limb to limb. And then he's like, oh, I stand 10 toes down and I don't think I went that hard. And okay, well, listen, y'all know I'm a huge believer in reaping what you sow, good, bad, or indifferent, right? So now social media is doing the exact same thing. They are doing the exact same thing to him. I mean, they are really going after his feet, his clothes, his his brand, his job, his everything. So, and maybe people don't think that, they're going too hard, but I wanted y'all to hear from the horse's mouth, his quote unquote apology. I don't think it was sincere or authentic, but that's just my opinion. Again, he said that he stood 10 toes down in it, and he, the only thing that he really apologized for was going after her looks, which was below the belt. I disagree. I think that going after a person's family, their career, and everything is below the belt. But that's just me. You guys drop down in the comments. I want to hear from you. Oh, before I go, this is what they said, right? So Chloe says she clapped back and she said, "People be so mad at your happiness, get help." And then Hallie quote tweeted her and said, "They need help immediately." And I agree. And I hope that he gets it. So, y'all, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I will talk to you later. Take care, Aces. Bye.